You can see your screen. Don't worry, we understand.
All right. So my screen is audible. Yes. So this one is intentional now. All right. So the recording has started. This is being done with your permission. Please, I'd like us to be aware for ethical reasons. I mean, I'm not supposed to record the session without your permission. The purpose is for you to have post-class reference, just in case something gets confusing along the line. All right. So welcome to class, everyone. This is Power BI class. It's going to stretch for 3 hours. By 4:30 we'll be done with the class, so I will use the same method we used in our Excel classes yesterday, which were also 3 hours stretch. So after the first 1.5 hours, or let's say 1 hour 20 minutes, I think 25 minutes is ideal, right? We'll take like 10 minutes break. I call it water break. Then we'll come back and complete another 1 hour 25 minute session. That will make it 3 hours. So the class is Power BI, right? I explained yesterday that whatever tool you are using, the goal for data analytics is one. You want to get actionable insights, or let me say, you want to get insights from your data that can be used to make informed decision. Okay, so I'm not going back there. I believe since we have done the 2 Excel classes today, everybody by now, you already know a few things about data analytics, and you know the basic steps. I highlighted them yesterday in our Excel classes. I mentioned that in data analytics, first thing you need to ask questions, because it's not always going to, it's a very intuitive process, right? It's not something that is dogmatic. It's not a dogma. It's not, it cannot be stereotyped. You get what I mean? I mean, it's not like there's a fixed thing you have to do. All right. So usually you can make guesses. Okay, hypothesis. You can make hypothesis, and then your data analytics process can just be a way of you trying to verify your bias. Maybe you have a bias. For example, let's maybe take a position. Maybe Tinubu's tenure has been the worst in the democratic history of Nigeria. And I'm not saying that is a fact, right? But I'm saying that can be an hypothesis, and then I can pull out data, analyze data, and then prove it correctly, or well, prove it wrong if I am unable to prove that correctly. So you get, and then that's one. Another thing I could say, increase in PMS price is not responsible for poverty in Nigeria. I mean, you can make hypotheses. So usually you have questions to ask, you have questions to answer. All right. And after that, you need to say, okay, if I have this kind of problem at hand, or if there's this kind of opportunity, where do I get my data? So you have to source your data. So if you're working with an organization, maybe as a data analyst, or you are working on a role and you need your data analytics skills, it might be a little bit easier because your organization is expected to have its own data, right? But if you're freelancing, or you are just an enthusiast that just like data analytics, maybe you're a blogger, or you are uh, just a data person that likes to share stuff, maybe just through your portfolio or something, most of the times you would have to source for your own data. A lot of times there are advanced um, methods to get data, which include web scraping, and sometimes you can just, there are some free data online. I mean, if you go to Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, their website, I believe there are some data that are free there. And then a lot worldwide, there are really a lot of data sets that are free that you can free analyze and gain insight. Okay. And after you have gotten your data, you will not think that your data would automatically come in a format that favors your analysis. So most of the times you have to clean your data, right? Another word for that is wrangling, like data wrangling, like when you wash your clothes, you will say, "Hmm, I'm sorry," right? You need to remove the water, the moisture content in the clothes you have just finished washing. That's wrangling. So data wrangling. I also can call it data transformation. It might include removing columns, adding columns, correcting cases, correcting spellings, removing outliers, dealing with missing values. There are a lot of activities. I mentioned a few of them in our Excel classes yesterday. All right. Then after you have cleaned your data and everything is set, you are now good to analyze your data. When you analyze your data, what are you trying to do? You're trying to look for the insight in your data. All right. You are looking for the fruits in your data. You're trying to bring out the smoothie in the fruits of your data. Sure you get. You're trying to bring out something that is hidden, those good things that are hidden in your data. That is what you're trying to do essentially. You would need measures, you would need calculated columns, you would need calculated tables. All these are done with DAX. You should know what DAX means as we proceed. So after you have analyzed your data, then okay, it's almost useless if you just analyze the data and then you have 4 pages report, 5 pages report that is just wordy and full of calculations. You are showing us summation fx over summation x. You're just doing mathematics. You'll be like, are you crazy? But if you show them graph, you show them column chart, you show them a pie chart, and in the pie chart they see a circle, then they can see 3 sectors in the circle. One sector occupies more than half of the circle, and they say, okay, out of the salary of the average Nigerian, that is how much they are spending on food. They understand better. Or let's say the second sector also occupying another like 40%. They say, okay, that is what they spend on transport. Then the remaining, they say, okay, that is what they're using to define buy and find there online. So you get something like that. So people will understand better when you visualize things. So that's the sense of data visualization, right? When you put things into pictures. So we call it visualization or storytelling. And after you have done that, you want to share with people, you want to present your work. So sometimes you have to do it in maybe in a PowerPoint slide. Sometimes you just publish. If you're using Power BI, there's a way to publish your work onto a social network or to your organizational network. Or you may just want to publish to a dashboard or something. Or sometimes, if it's Microsoft Excel now, you may just want to share the link to your workbook with some other people so that they can log into your workbook remotely and collaborate with you. All right. So what I'm bringing out now is that whatever you are using, whether you are using Excel, whether you're using Power BI, whether you're using SQL or SQL, or whether you're using Python, R programming, Java, whatever you are using, Tableau, or anything you are using, right? All of them follow the same process. All of them follow this same process. So, and that's why I'm not going to go over this again. All right. So Power BI, if I can introduce Power BI to you, I know a lot of us probably already Power BI users, or maybe, and I honestly know some of us are hearing it for the first time. I mean, somebody chatted me, this Power BI, what is it? What is it used to do? So Power BI is a Microsoft program. It was when it was created, I believe it was supposed to be Microsoft Excel senior brother. That was probably the intention, because it actually effectively handled some limitations in Microsoft Excel. Much later, after they launched Power BI, the features of Power BI was also incorporated into Excel, such that now you can also do with Microsoft Excel a few things that you can do with Power BI. So Power BI is a business intelligence tool, and it's a data modeling tool. Power BI is a business intelligence tool, 1. Number 2, it's a data modeling tool. 3, it's a data visualization tool. Power BI is very rich in visualizations. It has different types of graph. It can be well formatted. If you see dashboards made with Power BI, you would love it. Trust me, you would love it. You would not want to use Excel again in your life. And I'm honest, as far as visualization is concerned. Okay, I understand there are things you will do with Excel that Power BI will be paralyzed, right? So it's use of visualization, it's used for data modeling, and it is used for business intelligence, right? Okay, don't forget that in this class you are free to raise your hand at any point in time. You are free to ask questions, but just raise your hand. If I finish a thought, I will recognize you. You ask a question and everybody learn. Okay. Try not to use the call message. If you put anything here, it's fine, but I may not be able to read it. I'm sharing my screen. Very soon now I will move to Power BI. Then I would lose sight of what is going on in the messages. I would not see it, right? But if you raise your hand, there will be an alert in my ears. I would be be notified with a sound. So I know somebody is raising their hand. So you get. Okay. So the data is sent to us. Let me use that concept to explain what data modeling means. So we are not in data modeling yet. I will soon give us a breakdown of how our Power BI classes will run. Okay, but to give us a background of what data modeling means, okay, your organization data sometimes has different tables, right? So for example, now in this particular example that we have in front of us, we have an organization that is into retailing. They sell different products, and they have the products being sold in 3 different countries, different states in those countries, different cities and towns in those countries. In short, the business have up to 24 stores. Okay. So now when they record their sales, this is their sales for 1997, for example. Let this open. When they record their sales, this is where they record it. They write the date. Okay. They write the product ID. So there's a unique number, the way they do their thing, right? There's a unique number that represents every product. For example, if they are selling pencil, that is, let's say if they're selling HB pencil, they can say that is product ID 1. Same pencil, but maybe this one is 4B pencil. They say that's product ID 2. All the products they are selling have unique product ID, right? And all of their customers, every customer that has ever patronized them, that has bought something from them, they also have their own unique ID. So look at it. So this they record transaction date. They record stock date. That is the date they bought the item they sold. Take your eyes off this for a while. Then they have the product. They said, okay, for example, let me give you an example of how this was recorded. So on January 1, 1997, they will say 5 units. Quantity is 5, right? 5 units of product 869 was purchased by customer 3449 in our store 6. Get that? January 1, 1997, 5 units of this product was purchased by this customer at this store. Now ask questions. Which product is product 869? I don't know. What's the brand? I don't know it. How much are we selling this product? I don't know. Right? Who is the manufacturer? I don't know. But they have the information on that table. So if I go and open another table now, I can find more details about the products. So this is product 869 right now. If I open that file, that product lookup file, it has opened. If I open the product lookup file now, I can search for product 869. Sorry, I want to do Control F. 869. Beautiful. So this is product 869. So from here now, okay, let me also freeze. Okay, come on, learn something. I can freeze the top row. I can click on view. Then where's my freeze? Okay, freeze pane. I want to freeze top rows. So as I'm going downward now, I will not lose what's on top. So let's find again. 869. So can you see now? So even though I'm here now, I can see my top row, right? So product 869 is this. The product brand is National. This 869. The product name is National Grapefruit Roll, right? The product SKU means store keeping unit, is this. Product price is here, 869. This is the product price. This is the product cost. This is the product weight. Recyclable 1, low fat 0. This one means yes. I believe this recyclable is 1 and 0. Low fat is also 1 and 0. It's Boolean. It's a Boolean data type. That is, if it's 1, yes. If it's 0, it's no. Should we get? Okay. So look at this now, which means that I cannot analyze this table without letter here. Which means I
So I
can
don't know if it's only me. Like
confirm my screen is being shared. Just to see my screen. Alright, so which means I cannot pardon me, what did he say?
Okay, your screen is not showing.
Hello? Please can I
Your screen is not
able
showing. It's
and
not the same before.
your, your screen showing up, but like the network is dragging. Hello, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you see Chio's screen? Is there any action taking place? Because it's like it's on the pause.
Same. Same.
Okay.
sorry. I initially was trying to save your soul, right? I'm sorry. I apologize. It's one of us, I mean, one participant in this class probably was having a hard time joining the class. So he called. I think he should have used normal call. Coincidentally, I'm relying on my phone for connectivity. So it's kind of interrupted. Apologies, please. Okay, please, can you hear me now? And can you see my screen? Charles, please confirm.
Yes, I can. But the screen is not yet displayed. So I can hear you.
Yes, I can see your screen, but you've not displayed your
All right,
Excel sheet.
thanks. All right, so this is my Excel sheet now. So now, with what I've explained so far, it means that I cannot analyze my transactions alone. This table cannot be analyzed singly. I need support of other tables to analyze it. All right. Okay. So I cannot analyze this table all alone by itself. I will need information in some other tables. One of them is product table, right? Let me open store table 2. This is now, for example, this product was purchased at store 6. Which store is store 6? Which country is that store located? What's the size of the store? Right? What's the phone number of the store? Which city? Where is the store located? All these things. Which kind of store is this? Is it a supermarket? Is it a mall? Right. So this is store lookup. So this is store 6, where the product was purchased January 1, 1997. So from here I can see that okay, now six now. So I can see that okay, it's a government supermarket. The name is store 6, yeah. This is the address. It's in Beverly Hills, It's in California, USA. This is their number. This is when 1981. Last model date was 1991, right? The total square feet, that is the dimension of the shop, is this. The grocery square feet is this. I mean, if I open store lookup now, I can see more details. Now, when you now have a system whereby and all of them are that you can now analyze all of them as if it's a single reference. So because your data will not always be a small data like this, it will not always be a file on your computer. Most of the times when you are building models, you are connecting to bigger data sources, probably something like you are connecting to maybe a database, or you are connecting to data in the cloud. Yeah, maybe AWS, Azure, IBM DB2, Oracle database, etc. So you get. So sometimes it's on also, okay, it can also be on a server in your organization, on your central server. It could be in a shared folder where different people have access to. So when you now connect different data sources, okay, this is my transaction data. In your transaction data, you have product ID. Okay, where can I get details about all the products? You have a product lookup. Where can I get details about the customer that did this thing? You have customer look. You have store lookup. You now put all of them together in your Power BI engine based on what we call keys. We create a relationship with keys. We'll get there shortly. Don't worry. We'll talk about primary key and foreign key, but don't worry about that yet. Just know that keys simply means similar columns, right? You create a relationship between them now, and you analyze everything together as if it is a single data. And next time you need that kind of report, you don't need to start afresh. You just refresh. You just click refresh, and it will load new data. Let's say, you know, it's transaction they are selling every day. In fact, some shops are open today. Sunday is a day, right? It's the day of the week like Monday. So shops are open. People are carrying on their business, just like you and I are also here, right? In the class. So I'm saying that data is always in motion. Data is always in motion. It's always increasing. So if you have that kind of model now, and you just click refresh, the newest data in your database, in your cloud, wherever it is, it flows into the data model. Right. So that is data modeling. And one of the tools you can use to achieve data modeling is our dear Power BI. That should be a very nice introduction, I think. All right. So I believe that BI in Power BI means business intelligence. Yeah, it's business intelligence. So we can move on. So let me introduce you to Power BI interface. I know I can talk too much before I use all the time to talk. So I will click on blank report. So if your Power BI is open, once you click Power BI, this is where it brings you to, right? You can click on open. Perhaps you have some projects that you are doing already and you want to access it. You click on open. But if you are not opening something, right, just click on home. Then if you are creating a fresh project, just click on blank report, right? And it brings you here. It brings you here. When you click on blank report, it brings you here. Okay. So if I want to do anything on Power BI, I believe the first thing will be for me to connect to my data sources. Okay. So that would lead me to explaining the things you need to know to be a proficient Power BI user. Please don't forget. And that is how this Power BI training has been structured. Number one, for you to be a proficient Power BI user, you must know how to use Power Query. Power Query. You should know how to do data modeling on Power BI. You should know the data modeling element. That is, You need to know how to create relationships. You need to know the types of relationships we have, the cardinality of relationships, the direction, the filtering direction, row context, filter context, keys, primary keys and foreign keys, all of we are coming to all of that when we are done with Power Query. But it's one of the things you need to know how to do in Power BI. So after that, I've mentioned two: Power Query, data modeling. You need to know how to use DAX. DAX is data analysis expressions. That is the mathematical part of Power BI. All right. DAX is a formula-based language that is used in Power BI. It is used to create measures, calculated columns, and calculated tables. That's what we use DAX to do. It's a formula. It looks pretty much like Excel formula. If you enjoy writing Excel formulas, compelling visualizations in Power BI. So let's start from the first one. Power Query has an alias, ETL. Another alias is GTL. E for egg, T for table, L for lion, ETL, GTL, G for goat, GTL, ETL. So what does it mean? So the alias successfully captures the purpose it successfully captures the function. It successfully captures the functions of the app or of the program. ETL, Power Query does three things. Number one, it extracts data. If I can put that in a way we will better understand, we say it is used to connect to your data source. So wherever your data is, our example in this class, our data is on our computer. But real life situations, your data will not always be on your computer. Sometimes it will be. In fact, most of the times, trust me, it's be on your computer. Most of the models my data are actually in my computer. I will fetch the data from a server, then I'll put it in a folder, then I would point my Power BI to that folder to fetch that data. Okay. But wherever your data is, it doesn't matter, don't worry. Wherever the data is, the first thing Power Query helps you to achieve is that it helps you connect to your data. And Power Query in Power BI is so rich that it can connect to over 80 different sources of data. And you're going to see that shortly. Over 80 different sources of data. I bet wherever your data lives, if your data is living in the sea, if your data is living on the mountain, Power Query will find it. It's so rich. Trust me, it is so rich. There's almost no way you can have data that Power Query cannot get. It has the API to connect to most of these things. All right. That's the first thing. I said ETL. So the first thing is that it helps you connect your data. Number two, it helps us to transform our data. That is, it is used in data cleaning. It is not only used in data cleaning, it automates that cleaning process. It is not only used in data cleaning, but it also automates the cleaning process. All right. We are going to see all that. Then the last one is that it loads the data into your data model. So number one, it extracts data, or it helps you connect the data. Number two, it helps you clean your data. That's transform, T for transform. And lastly, it helps you load your data. It loads your data into the data model, ETL. All right. So let us start. Let me bring in a data first. I think it's better that way before I introduce us to the Power BI interface. So if you want to connect your Power BI to a data, there are like 5 ways you can do it, maybe more. This is get data. Can you see get data? This is 1. Can you see get data? This is 2. If you come here, you see get data. This is 3 already. If you come to file, get data. This is 4. Okay. I'll show you the 5th one when we get to Power Query. So let me just click this. So before you point your Power Query to a data, you should first and foremost know what type of data am I dealing with? What data type am I dealing with? So if you look at the data I shared, you will see that they are CSV files. They are not Excel. They are looking like Excel symbol, Excel, Excel, Excel. It's not Excel. They are not Excel files. They are Microsoft Excel, comma, separated values file. Comma separated values means CSV. So when I want to get my data here, I'll click on, once I click on the drop down here in front of get data, I'll just click on text slash CSV. And when I click it, I can locate the file that I want to bring, whatever it is leaving. So for me, I've given the files to you guys. I believe you have downloaded them on your computers. Please just locate them where they are and click the one you want to open. Just click on it, or you can double click, or you can click once and click open. Anyone that works for you, right? Please, just a second. All right. Okay, so when you click on the file, it brings this interface, and then you can click on load. You can click on, you have three options, right? You can click on load, you can click on transform, you can click on cancel. If you click on transform, which is probably the thing you will do most of the time, unless your data is already clean. Although the data that we have here, they are already clean, okay, but we're going to play with them a little bit, just as if they are not clean, okay. All right. Okay. So this is now your Power Query. If you look at the top here, this is Power Query Editor. Okay. This is Power Query Editor. We are not here yet. Okay. So once you open your, if you click on transform, it opens your Power Query Editor. You can do your modifications, you can do all your cleaning, polish your data, create column, delete column, do different things, right? And when you are done, that is the, you have already loaded the data. I mean, you have already extracted the data like this. Power Query is ETL, extract, transform, load. I've extracted like this because I've already brought it from where it is to Power Query, right? I want to leave transform alone first, right? Let me just load. So once you are done with your transformation, just click on close and apply. And the data comes here to begin to appear here. It is processing. Please allow a few seconds for it to process completely. All right. If you are in band A area in Nigeria, say hi in my DM. Let us gather and have meeting.
I need to load you. I
Yeah.
will load up.
Yeah, you can load all of them, but
Oh,
I think anybody that has attended the previous class, I'll start banning them from these classes. I'll start banning them from. They're coming to do Yanga in my class.
Accelerator.
Yes, ma.
So I am at that load, transform data, and cancel
So
page.
don't worry, just click load. Load it.
Okay.
Yes. Don't bother. I will go to transform data. So if you click on transform, it takes you to Power Query. But don't worry, we are still going to enter Power Query properly. I wanted to load one data so that I can explain the Power BI interface itself first before we start explaining Power Query. All right, so where we are now, there are a few things you have learned today. Very brief. Number one, you have a little bit of knowledge of Power Data Modeling already. What data modeling means. At least you should take, if you have taken some things away. One, you have many interconnected tables being analyzed together. Many interconnected tables being analyzed together. One. Number two, you don't need to be doing your data cleaning every time. You don't need to do analysis every time. Once new data comes, just refresh your model, it analyzes itself. So data modeling, you stress once, you enjoy forever. You stress once, you enjoy forever. All right. And I said Power BI is one of such tools that you can use to achieve data modeling. And I showed us an example of the many data we have. This food mart company where they just record their transactions based on keys, product ID. I don't know all the details of the product, but this is in another table. They just put customer ID, but all the details of that customer is in another table. They put store key, and all the details of that store is in another table also. So all these things can now be, all the tables are interrelated. They are interrelated, right? They are interrelated. So when we bring them together in a database and then we analyze them together, that's data modeling. All right. So now I've loaded my store lookup. So let me now explain. Power BI interface. It's really not so much. It's just like 5 things you need to know about this interface. Number one, you have 3 pins at the right hand side. You have data pane. You have data pane. This is where you will see all the data that you have loaded to your model. Data pane is where you will see all the data that you have loaded to your what? To your model. And it does not matter where they are from. As long as you load the data to your model, whether it is from Power Query, whether it's a calculated table, all the data you have in your model, this is where you see them data. I can click on this drop down, and there I will see all the columns in that data. So everything I'm seeing here, can you see? First open date, grocery square feet, last removed date, region, store city, store country, store ID, store name, store phone, store state, store street, store type, total square feet. All of these, they are the columns in this data. All right, so that's data pane. It's not more than that. In fact, if you create a measure, you will see it here. But let's leave it. That's the first thing you need to know. Then the second thing, visualization pane. This is where you control your visualizations. You want to create a column chart. You want to create a pie chart. You want to create a sunburst chart. You want to create a tree map chart. You want to create a donut chart, a pie chart, a clustered column, stacked column, geospatial, maybe a map chart. You want to create a card, slicers. This is when you do all of them. Anything that has to do with, you want to do a chart. You want to make it look good. Either you want to create it or you want to format it. This is where you do it. Visualization. It is here. This is the Odonge Oga. When it comes to visualization, this is where you are coming, right? Then the last one here is filters. So these filters controls this page. Whatever you have done here, whatever visualization you have done here, you can filter it here. Filter. You know, I can, in this class now, we are male and female. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I think we are male and female. Okay. Let me assume just male and female. All right. I can filter this class. I can say, okay, I want to analyze the participant in this class. I just want to see the male only. Right. I can say I want to see the female only. That is filter. I can do it based on geopolitical zone because I know we have. Do we have outside this class? I don't know. But we have people from Southwest in this class. Yes. I know we have people from Southeast. We have people from South. I know 100%. These three, I know 100%. Not Central. I am not sure, but at least no Southwest, Southeast. I know 100%. I can say, okay, I want to see just those that are from South in this class. I just want to, those are the people I want to deal with. That is filter. When you are applying conditions to your data before analysis, that is filtering, right? So anything that has to do with filters, as far as this page is concerned, you do it here, right? So good, that's what that place does. Now, this white space, let me come back there later. So this one here, you have 3 views in Power BI. You have 3 views. Number 1, you have report view. This is where you make your visualization. So I've talked about visualizations already, yeah? Good. In your report view, can you see if I hover my mouse on it, I can see report view. This is where I will do my report. This is where I will create my graph. This is where I can create my charts. Sure you get. And in this place, I can create more than 1 page. So this is page 1. Just like in Excel, I can click on this. That's page 2, page 3, page 4. And just like in Excel, I can delete pages. Delete page 4, delete, is gone. Delete this, also delete, and it is gone, right? So you can have many pages. That is your report view. What you do here is you create reports, you create graphs. This is where you make things happen. This is where it is happening, Gongo. You get it? So after your report view, the next view you have is table view. Call it table view. In Excel, we call it data view. But here it is table view. But it's the same thing, trust me. So this is where you see your data in rows and column. This is where you see your data in rows and column, just as if you are dealing with Excel. But you cannot double click in this way. Okay, this is 5371. No, it's a mistake. It is 5370. You cannot do that. You cannot edit it here, but you can view it here. You can view it from it. That's honestly what you can do here, right? What you can also probably do from here is, well, you can create from the ribbon. You can create new measure. You can create quick measure. You can create new column. You can create new table. But to edit this thing here, like this is CA. It's not supposed to be CA. It should be CAR. MRD Power Query. You get to Power Query before you can do it. So what you do in table view essentially is that you have the opportunity to view your data. To view your data in rows and columns. To view it as it is. This is where you can see the details. That's how they call it table view. And can you see they call it view, like view. You know what I mean? Like view. You cannot edit. It's just view, just see it. Just look at it. Then the last one is model view. The last view you have here is model view. So in model view, this is where you see your data as objects. You see your data as objects. Your data in model view, in Microsoft Excel, it is called diagram view. In Microsoft Excel, it's called diagram view. So what you do in diagram view is that you have the opportunity to look at your data in object view. This is how to interpret this. This is the name of the table, store lookup. Can you see? Store lookup. Then look at this. All these are the column names. These are the columns in that table. All this you are looking at are the column names. There's height here. This is visibility. We'll come back there later when we are doing data modeling. We'll come back there. Oh yeah, we'll come back there. We're coming there. Or should I do it now? No, let's come back there. Let's come back. All right, so let's go. So that is that. Those are the three views we have. Report view, where you create your visualization, or let's say where you create your graph, or let's say where you create your report. The table view, where you see the table, where you see your data in table view. You see it in rows and columns, like in Excel, but you cannot edit it there. I told you, right? Then the data view, where you see your data as objects. Capiche? Okay. So after that, so you know what the panes we have here, you know them now. Somebody's trying to raise a hand, please, just a second. So these are the three panes here. These are the three views here. Then you have the ribbon. Okay, you already know what this get data is used to do, right? So all these things you have here from this place, from this get data, up to this place, they're all about getting data. So this is data vars. For example, this is a fresh table. This is a SQL database. This should be a lake. Oh yeah, one lake. This is Excel. This is Excel, and this is where you can whatever you have. Ignore everything you have here, right? I mean, from here to here, just ignore. In fact, to here, because all of them you can still see them here in get data. All the different sources of data that you can connect Power BI to, you can see them here. I mean, I can click on more, and I will see all the data source possible in this world that I can connect my Power BI to. Can you see this is all? So can you see all of these are different data sources that you can point your Power BI to? All of them are data sources, right? So I'll cancel. Okay, somebody has a question before we move on.
Yeah. You said we have three views, but on that list there are four.
Yeah, it's not a view.
It's not a view.
Yeah, it's not a view. Okay, it's for DAX queries. Let me click it.
It's the query view.
Yeah, it's actually for DAX queries. Trust me, it's a little bit complex and it's beyond the scope of this class. It's yeah, it's a in fact, it's not even where you write your DAX, right? It has to do with some kind of database, how you connect your Power BI to some databases, really. Trust me. So look at this, for example. Now you cannot see your data here. That's why I say it's not a view. So look at this. This is store lookup. This is a diagram view. You see your data. This data I've loaded. This store lookup. This is my data here, right? And I can see everything, all my columns here. This is your table view, right? This is your report view. This you can still see your data. You can see interact with everything here. This one is quite different, and really, it's even a new development. If you check Power BI editions, just like three maybe just like three I want to say model, three versions away, you will not find this. And by the way, Power BI updates every month. Yeah, Power BI will we started this class yesterday. Yeah, I mean last week. Before we finish this training, another version of Power BI is coming out, so it's constantly updating. All right. Anyway, thank you.
Sorry.
That's Charles, right?
Yeah. You said Power BI always update. I've been having some information now to update my Power BI. If I update it, does it affect the files already done?
Okay, so let me tell you why it may be necessary for you to update. Trust me, you have a very good system. I know you are running on a 32 gig laptop. So updating may not in fact, it's very good for you because you have a laptop that can handle it. So the more updates Power BI releases, the more it's the most of the time considered the current trend of laptop capacities, right? If your laptop is not so strong, it's not compulsory you update. But let me tell you where you may be stuck if you're not updating. Everything you are doing will not stop working. But if you update your Power BI now, for example, you Charles, if you update your Power BI and you do a work, you do a project, and you give me the file, the PBIX file, the Power BI file, you send it to me, I cannot open it. I cannot open it on a previous version. I'll get an error that I'm trying to open a file on a lesser version. So I will not be able to open it. So I may be forced to upgrade. So until probably if you are faced with that kind of condition, well, I think for this stage, it's okay to stay with what you have. I really think. But if you like updates, you can update. They come up with new things every time. Trust me, Power BI, Microsoft is really impressive in that they come with new things every time. There are new measures when they release updates. Most of the time, there are new measures. Sometimes there are new formulas. Sometimes there are just slight modifications in Power Query, just small things like that. But every month, though, 12 times every year, they release new versions. All right, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. All right. Don't worry. Since you're interested in this DAX query, I will engage you. Don't worry. Okay. So let's go ahead, guys. Let's bring our data now. Let's try and bring some orders. So we have our store lookup here already. So let's bring 2 more. Okay, if you can bring more than that, that's fine. So just go to text or CSV. I already have my store lookup here. So let me say something. Your transactions, your 2 transactions file. I mean, look at these 2 files. Transactions 1997, transactions 1998. Create a separate folder for them, please. Create a separate folder like I've done. I can see these are all my files, but those 2 transactions are not among these ones. I created a folder and I put those 2 files in this folder. Please do the same thing. Thank you. Okay, so I want to bring I'll bring in region and I'll bring in product. Okay. If you have if you are faster, please bring in everything. Okay. So what I want to do, I'll just load it. You know, I've shown you 4 places where you can bring in data. Okay. When I get to Power Query, I'll show you the 5th one.
You said we should bring in everything, right?
Oh yeah, except the 2 transactions that I asked you to create folder for.
All right.
Those 2, we'll bring those 2 in the next half after the break. Okay. So I've been bringing in data from here since morning, right? So let's try another place. Okay, so I just want to click here, then get data, text or CSV. I have region and store. I want to bring in product. Okay, I just load this. Mo lọ ṣe kan pamọ́. Okay, apologies. So let me bring in some more. Okay, still working. Okay. Who has brought in all the files? I have 3.
Sam.
Huh? Okay.
Hi, facilitator.
Yes, ma'am.
Food mart transactions 1998 is okay to move, right?
Food Mart transactions 1998 should be in the folder that I ask you to create. But Food Mart returns, that one is good to be loaded. But Food Mart, like I've loaded return. But
Okay.
Food Mart transactions 1997, Food Mart transactions 1998, let them be in a separate folder. Lock them up in the same room.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, apart from Charles, please, who is anyone else has brought in all the fives? 1, 2, 3, I have five. Apart from my 32 gig.
Done.
I'm done as well.
I have really proud people here.
He shock you.
Which other guy is done? No guy. Eh. All right. So I can leave the one that is remaining. I can honestly leave it. My machine is tired.
Don't give up.
It's-
You can't do it.
My machine is tired. Okay. I'm not bringing the last. So now, after you have loaded all the data, let's do something now. Look at this. If you come to your table view now, you can view all your data. Right? We have already viewed our store lookup. You already know what is inside. So perhaps you want to see what is in your region lookup. From your table view here, you can just click region lookup here under your data pane, and you can see what is there. You can interact with the columns. You can see everything. Click on your product lookup. Yeah, is here. Then Food Mart returns. You have this. Customer lookup. You have this. So you can look at all those data one by one, right? And then you can also come to table view. Okay, diagram view. I mean, that's the way it is called in Excel, or model view in Power BI now. You have, these are all the tables one by one. Can you see them now? This is a table, this is a table, this is a table here. We have another one here. Okay, somebody is raising a hand. I will recognize it shortly. Please hold on. So these lines are called relationship lines. Please delete them. Just click on it once and press delete. When we are through with Power Query, when we get to data modeling part, I will explain what those lines, what they do, how to create them, what the star means, what the one mean, what broken line mean. I will explain all the notations. So for now, just click on the line and
Sorry, I
press
think I'm
delete.
lost.
Okay.
Hello?
Where are you? I'm very good at finding
You
people.
said we should. Okay, you said we should click on table view, right?
Oh yeah. So click on diagram view now. Model view, the next one. This one. If you click it, you're going to see all the tables you loaded one by one. So I believe by now you must have loaded 6 tables. You should have 6 tables. So each of these objects, I call it object, looks like a rectangle. Each of them represents one file each. Each of them represents one file each. And then each of them represents one file each, and then of course I've explained before, everything that is written inside it represents columns. Then I said that there are lines around them. click
Okay.
on that line once and just press delete. Delete those lines.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Hmm.
So they are just quiet. Hope you are good.
He's a gentleman. He's going to be gentle.
Just quietness means someone is gentle.
Yes, now.
So people are quiet but very wicked though.
Focus, focus, focus.
Focus, Abby.
I honestly don't know what my Power BI is working on.
It's because of the last thing you deleted.
Guys, I want to apologize for asking you to delete a relationship. Apparently, these tables they're already doing a relationship between themselves. Yeah. So I said delete it. It's now looking as if I asked them to do a breakup, kind of. Now we still settle the matter now. Now there we dey.
Covenant relationship.
Oh, you went to destroy what Power BI joined together. You are here.
all right, guys. I can't deal. So let's do it this way. I honestly feel this is wasting my time and I cannot stop it. There's no way to stop it. But can you please? Okay, so right click on one of the tables, come to your data here, click on your data model, then right click on it and click on edit query. So let's go to our Power Query. Should I close this thing? Should I put beans on the fire? Ah, oh my God. Finally. Okay. Are you there? So right click on one of them. You can right click or you can click this ellipsis. There's an ellipsis here that is 3 dots. So you can click the ellipsis or you can right click on any of those tables or queries. Then click on edit query. So when you click on edit query, your Power Query editor will open. It will open. And when it opens, I don't know the table you right click on, but in your Power Query editor, you'll be able to transform any of the tables that you wish to transform. So briefly, before we go on break by 3, we have a lot of time. I will recognize the person. Just okay. You can ask a question.
Isn't it advisable that you mention one table so we're all in uniform?
Anyone? Yeah. Don't worry. That's why I'm going. It will still be uniform. Just choose anyone.
One call with her. Let's use the same table.
So we can
No.
use whatever you're doing and then we can, simulate them. Later we can.
All right. So this is what I'm saying. If you
Yes.
I right click on customer lookup and it brought me here. But I can access store lookup from here. In the simple query, I can click on any of the tables here. Can you see them? So that's why I said right click on any table. So you get. I don't know if you get me. If you right click on food mats returns, it will bring you here. Right? But if I say, okay, guys, let's move to store lookup, you just click on store lookup here. And you're there.
Okay, understood.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter the one you right click on. That's where I'm going. That's one of the lessons now. That doesn't matter the one you right click on. It doesn't matter the one you choose. As long as you have loaded all that data through Power Query, you will be able to edit any of those data in Power Query without going back to right click on that particular data. Right clicking on any of those data will take you there. To take you there. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Are we all here now? Are we all here? Are we on the same page? Is everybody here in Power Query?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so let me give you a brief introduction to the Power Query interface. Okay. You already know what Power BI interface entails. You know the three views, you know the panes you have. If you want to do visualization, you know where to go. You want to filter, you know where to go. You want to load your data, you know where to go. Okay, we are moving. You can create a page, you can delete a page. Come on. You can access Power Query. All right. So these are Power Query syntax. Oh, I say syntax. These are Power Query interface. So it also has like 4 or 5 things I would love to talk about. So number one, the left hand side here, you have the queries pane, P-A-N-E, queries pane. This is where you see all your queries. And I mentioned that you can right click on anyone because you can access any of the queries from here. Once you escape Power BI window by right clicking on any of those queries and you enter Power Query Editor, immediately you're in Power Query Editor, you can access any of those queries. You can access any of those queries. You can edit any one of them. You can do anything with any one of them. This is the queries pane. Then at the right hand side, you have your query settings. It has 2 things there. The first one, it has the query name. This is the name of the query. So the name of the query is important because whatever name you give to the query is what the table will inherit. Okay, so if I, for example, change the name here from customer lookup to customer LKP, and as an LKP for lookup. Once I press enter now, can you see this one has changed to LKP? If I load this thing, right? If I load this bar, this one will also change to LKP here. This stuff will also change to LKP here, but I've not loaded it. So, but I don't want to load it now because I don't want to waste time. We have very limited time now. So if I do that, I'm going to have LKP, yeah, in that place also. So the name of the query is important. And again, avoid using spaces in your name of query. The spaces are allowed, right? But it has a way of making your DAX syntax more complex. Queries are allowed, queries are fine, but they have a way of making your DAX syntax more complex. So try not to use spaces in your customer lookup. That's why if you look at this one now, it was pre-named customer underscore lookup. You can remove it if you want. It's allowed. Just like I said, can you see? It's allowed. But it introduces a limitation when you are writing your DAX queries, your DAX formulas. And what I mean by that is you cannot use table name that has space without putting it in quotation marks. You cannot use name of a table in DAX which contains space in the name without putting all the name inside quotation marks. But if it doesn't have space, you can use it without quotation marks. So that's it. That's why spaces are not desired in query names. And again, these are the steps. These are the applied steps. Everything you do in Power Query is recorded. For example, let's say I deleted this column. I've deleted this column now. It will record it. Hey, guy, you deleted the column. And I can step back to see what has happened in previous steps. For example, currently there's no column here again. But I can go back 1 step before the current step, and I will see what has happened before I deleted column. Can you see the column is back? The column is actually not back because I'm not on the last step. Because once I go to the last step, the column is not there, right? Look at this again. Change data type. This data type here is 1, 2, 3. That is whole number. I will talk about data type shortly. But if I step back also 1 step behind, right, I have ABC now. So what I'm explaining is you can step back. You can step back. And if you took any step that you don't want to take, like you took a step, then you say, I know they take that step again. You did something. Now I say, I don't want to do them again. Something like You send me 1 million. You now say, I did not send you 1 million. So you get you just what you need to do, you don't need to fight me. You don't even need to ask me for the money. Just delete the 1 million. Just delete the alert on your phone. So just delete the step. So in Power Query, there's no Control Z and there is no undo. But anything you do, you can always delete the steps. Please take note. It will come out in your assessment. There's no Control Z and there's no undo. But anything you do, you can always undo. Standard. Anything you do, you can always undo. Just delete the step. All right, so these are the apply steps. And then anytime you refresh your data is made to pass through the apply steps from the source to the end. All right, let me stop there. So that's that. Then you have the data pane, right, where you can see your data. Just like in your table view in Power BI, you cannot edit anything from here as well, trust me. Like you cannot say, let me quickly double click this thing and let me type. You cannot type there like this. There are ways you can edit stuffs. Yes, there are ways you can edit things. There are ways you can edit things, but you cannot edit it line by line, row by row, or cell by cell. Most of the editings you're going to do are going to be column based. You're going to apply a settings, or you're going to apply a modification that will affect an entire column. All right. Don't worry, you'll see a few of them shortly. So you have the formula bar here. It looks pretty much like your Excel formula bar. Right. The difference is that what you have here is M code, not your natural Excel formula, and it is not even DAX. You will not need to learn M code, right? For example, let me do something again. Let me delete this thing. If I delete this header, it will write it. Can you see table dot remove columns, open bracket, hash, quotation mark, changed, space type, close bracket, comma, customer account number. Oh yeah, so it has written the code. So DAX will always write, I said DAX, Power Query is beautiful in the sense that it writes the code for you. It doesn't leave you to write the code all by yourself. It doesn't leave you to write the code all by yourself. It helps you write the code. It helps you write the codes. Power BI helps you write the codes. Power Query helps you write the codes in M code. So there are people that are that good that write M codes. I don't, honestly, I don't. And you will not have to. Okay, I know a little bit of it, but basically everything you're going to have to do in Power Query, they are just with button clicks, just with mouse clicks, type a few things in keyboard, but to write M code, you will honestly not need it. All right, but this is your formula bar. Once you make any button clicks, Power Query writes the code by itself and it records the steps. Okay, then you have the ribbon, just like your Excel ribbon. You have 6 tabs in Power Query. You have Home tab, Transform, Add column, View, Tools, Help, blah blah blah. Okay, don't worry, you're going to know what all these do with time. You're going to get there shortly. What's each of them, what they are used to do. But let us start this way. Behind the column headers is the data types. Okay, so the data type there, for example, is whole number. So we have like up to probably 10 data types in Power Query, Power BI. So we have the numbers group. We have decimal number. That's the number that has decimal points. We have fixed decimal number. That's one is essentially currency, because currency always have 2 decimal places. So this fixed decimal number has 2 decimal places. Like if I apply it, now look at it, everything we have 2 decimal places. Can you see? If I apply, can you see, and it's showing dollar at the back, so it's actually currency. If I apply decimal, that one can be 1 decimal place, can be 4 decimal place. You can increase the number of decimal places based on your requirement, right? But when you have whole number is a number without float. Like if I say how many of us are in this class, I think we are 8 in this particular class. Okay, 7 participants and 1 instructor. I cannot say we are 6.5 because I know I'm complete. We are not even 6.99. You get, we are 7. We are not even 7.0. There's no float. It's a whole number. All right. So whole number is just number without float. Then you have percentages. 100% sure you know what that means. Yes. Then in terms of dates, we have like 4 different data types there. This is dates. When you see a calendar behind a column like this, that is date. And then we have other one. We have date and time. You have date and time. Your values will be date, and it will give you the time element. Right? You have, apart from date and time, you have time only. This one will give you error because there's actually no time among the data that I have on this column, so it gives me error. Right? Then there is date, time, and time zone to show you the date, to show you the time, and to show you the time zone. So currently I'm in GMT +1. So if you have somebody from the UK here, to be showing, I say to probably show +00 because I know that London is on GMT. It's on GMT, not plus anything. It's on GMT. They use GMT time. Just that you guys, sometimes your time they change. I think we are on the same time presently, kind of. All right. So that is data types about dates. Then you have text. Anything that is written with alphabet, right, is text. Like you write Theophilus, that's text data type. You have Ayas, right, Charles. Those are text. Then after that, you have Boolean. Boolean, that's true or false. You have true or false. Boolean, anything that is Boolean is either true or false. All right, you are either this or that, right? It's either true or false. You're in this class, true or false. So if you're not in this class, either you're in this class or you're not in this class. Okay, you are fair in complexion, true or false. You're handsome, true or false. You're beautiful, true or false. Okay, so it's just true or false. So that is, if you have that kind of data type, that is Boolean. So essentially, to change data type in Power BI, or let me say Power Query now, just click on the 1, 2, 3 or whatever you have at the back of the column header and change it. So it's important for you to ensure that data types are in their appropriate data type. You know, that's one of the steps I mentioned in data cleaning. You have to ensure that data types are in their right data type. Okay. For example, this customer ID, can you see it defaults to the right hand side? I mentioned that in Excel yesterday. Their numbers by default are aligned to the right without even asking them to go there. If I change this one to text now, it will come to the left. It will come to the left. See that? Because it is now text. So this 4 looks like number, but it's not number. It's not number, it's text. It's text, and I cannot perform number operations on it as it is. I cannot. Should we try? Let me come to transform. Okay. Do I have anything that is number here? Birthdays. Okay, number of children. So let me do customer ID plus number of children, right? So I come to hard column. Can you see? It's even grayed out. Can you see number? These are the things I can do on numbers. I can do scientific operations, I can do trigonometry, rounding, information. It's grayed out because this thing is text. If I change it to an whole number now, see what will happen. Let's look at it. You see now? They are now available because this is now
Sorry,
number.
I'm not seeing your screen anymore.
Ooh. I'm sorry about that. I think I'm still sharing my screen. Is anybody seeing my screen? I think you may need to log out of the class and join again. Just click on the red button and enter the class back. But is she the only one? Let me confirm first. Is anybody seeing my screen?
We can see your screen.
Yeah, I can see it.
I think it's just network issue. Network in the recent time is not down. Network has lost its steez. All right. So when you have text, you cannot perform numbers operation on it. we've seen that already. So that's why I said that it's important we format the numbers appropriately, format data appropriately. Okay. Same way, when you want to do concatenate, for example, in Power Query, if your data type is numbers, you cannot perform concatenate on numbers. In Excel, you can do concatenate on numbers. In Power BI, Power Query, you cannot do concatenate on numbers. First thing first, you must convert it to text. That is the only way it can work. That is the only way it can work. And I'll show you an example as we move on. Should I do it now? Let's do it later. All right, so another way to change your data type, if you don't want to click here, right, that's the easiest way, and that's what I advise. But I should show you other ways. You can right-click on a column, then you see data type here, change type. Then you can choose what you want. Let me change it to text again. Right, let me just play with it. That is the second one. You can also come to transform, right? Transform tab. You see data type. Data type, text. I can click on it. I can still select data type that I want. And it's all the same thing, trust me. Then the last one, I've shown you 3 already. Is it 3? Of course, 3. The last one, I can still come here. See, now this is the data type again. They want to injure data type. And it's not only data type that is actually repeated like that. There are quite a number of stuffs in Power Query that you can do in 2, 3, 4, or even 5 ways. Yeah. So that is that about that. Okay. So now, promoting headers. Let me assume now that after we loaded our data, okay, I don't need to assume, yeah. So let's assume. I don't need to assume. Look at these column headers. What if you are dealing with the kind of data that the column headers, you feel like, no, these are not the column headers. These column headers are supposed to be part of the data. That the column headers are supposed to be my row 1. The column header that I have right now is supposed to be my first row. It's not supposed to be column header. What do I do in that kind of situation? You can just click on use first rows as headers. But that's not what I want. I actually want to use headers as first row. So I can click on the drop down and click use headers as first row. You see that these column headers will be demoted. So that's what this thing is saying, demote. Look at it, demote headers. Look at the description. Demote the headers of this table to the first row. Right. So that's how to do that if you want to do it. Or there are times that the column header is actually like this. Is in the first row. I'll be like, no. Column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 is not the column type now. Come on. This customer ID, first name, last name, customer address, they are the column headers, but it's currently the first row. How do I take them from the first row to becoming the column header? You know what to do? Just click on use first row as header. So you have learned how to promote first row to become headers, and you have learned how to demote first row as headers. All right. Okay, now, so what about replace values? Replace values. So let's go to store lookup. Let me work on store lookup for that. Click on store lookup. Replace values is like find and replace in Excel. So in our data, all the stores, they are, oh yeah, fantastic. So now look at my store lookup. Everything is store 1, store 2, store 3, store 4, store 5, store 6, store 7, store 8, store 9, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. What if I say I don't want to see store in this thing again? I now want it to be shop. I don't want to see store there. I want to be seeing shop going forward. What do? 2 things. You can click on replace values. Then you type store in there. Store. That is value to find store. Value to replace it with shop. And close it. Fantastic, right? Yes, now. So let me close the store lookup that I have here. So this is store lookup file.
Sorry, it didn't change.
It must change. How will it not change? It has changed. Your own did not change? Hello?
Sorry, I was looking at the header. The header didn't change.
Right, so
Oh, yeah, the header will not change. But you can always rename the header, right? This is the header is store name. If you want to rename the header, you can just double click. There are quite a number of ways to rename header. You can double click and give it a name. So instead of store name, I can say shop name. Shop name. Bam. And to put the step here, we renamed columns. So the header will replace that will not change the header. So what I did was I click here. I wanted to replace all the stores. You know, it was store 1, store 2, store 3, store 4 that we have there. I wanted to change to shop 1, shop 2, shop 3, shop 4, shop 5, shop 6, shop 7, blah blah blah. Look at this. So if you notice here, this thing did not change, but let me close it. You might think it's because we have not closed it. Let me see what we have here. So I want to open it again. You know, I will be thinking that since I've changed this thing to store here, let's load it so that it doesn't look like it's because we have not loaded it. The customer LKP we showed there also. You know, we changed our customer lookup to customer LKP. So this customer lookup, just be looking here. You see that it changed to customer LKP now. Okay, so I'm loading it and I've closed my store lookup, right? So I will open it again. I want to see whether the shop, the store that I changed to shop, whether it would have been changed in my original file. Good. Can you see? Customer lookup is now customer LKP. So let me click on this thing. My file explorer. So store lookup, let's open it again. I edited it in Power Query. I want to see whether the changes would have been applied in this place as well. I'm not surprised. It's not changed. It didn't change. See, I still have my store 1, store 2, store 3. In fact, you know, I changed the name of the column too. It also did not change. It did not change. It didn't change. All right. So let's save this. Okay. So let's do something. Let's go back there. So which means that whatever I do here on Power Query, so this is one of your lessons you have learned now, that whatever you do on Power Query does not affect the original data that you loaded to form that query. Whatever you do to your data in Power BI stays in Power BI. That is very clear, right? Whatever you do to your data in Power BI, it stays in Power BI. It doesn't affect your original data. So now, let's do something again. So instead of store here, so let me now do Control F here. I want to search for store. Anywhere I see store, I want to replace with mall. Replace all. Yeah. So, and I will save it. I will save it too. I've saved it. If I come to my Power Query now, don't forget that this mall name, it was initially store name. So store name. And I've earlier edited the store name to shop name in this place. If I refresh this query, the header will not change. Can you see? It said I cannot find the store name again. I have an error. It's not that error I'm interested in. So I'd like to change this back. So I'll refresh again. There's no more error. But what do you see? So who can tell me the brief lessons? There should have been 2 lessons here now. Because of time, let me just mention. Okay, let me allow somebody to mention it. Including what I mentioned before, that you have taken like 3 lessons now. What do you think? Let's go on. Number 1, whatever editing you make here does not affect your original file. Right. That's number 1. Number 2, if you make changes to your original column header, to the original header that you loaded, your query will hit an error here because it cannot find that header. That was what happened when I changed an header here. In fact, it's not just changing. Let's delete. Let's delete one header. Let's say I say, I already store city. I don't want it again. And I deleted it. And I refresh. Store city is gone. All right. Ctrl Z. Let's rename it. Store city. And I saved it. And I refresh. And I have an error. The guy said you cannot find store city. Can you see? Column store city of the table said it wasn't found. Okay. So whatever changes you make to your data, especially the header, is significant. Good. Then the last thing I would want to mention is, if you notice now, this one has turned to mul. Just because I changed this one to mul. What I asked this thing to replace here, in this replace value, I told Power Query, I said, look for store on this column. And anywhere you see store, replace it with shop. And it did it. But after I changed store to mul on the original data, store no longer exists. And it could not change it to mul thereafter. I don't know if you get that. I don't know if I'm communicating. I don't know. Let's do something again. Control F. So let's change mul to store. Change mul to store. Replace all. So I've changed mul to store now. Okay. So what do you think will happen here? If I refresh, what do you think will happen? I have mul here. My original data, or let me call it my source data. It's more appropriate. I have store. What do you think I would have here? What do you think will show here? And the response. What do you think I was? Store. So let me refresh. I will have shop. Now shop aggregate. Okay. Did I use small letter here? Why? Okay, maybe I did not save, I guess. Yeah, that's why. Let's refresh. Can you see? Shop. So normally, when I change that into mul on the original data, everything here became mul. Why? Because this step, replace value, was incapacitated. The guy was busy looking for store. It's just like somebody waiting in ambush. He was looking for store, and anywhere he sees store like this, bam, it will kill it. It change it to shop. When I changed the original data to mall, there was no store to change. So everything came back as mall. It couldn't change it to shop. But when I changed the original data back to store, this guy was still there. It was still there on that spot, like a kidnapper, waiting for store. And it found it. And immediately it found store, it brought shop. It just changed, it just killed the store and it's showing shop. So that is how these steps work. Anytime you refresh it, anytime you refresh your data, it picks the updates. Anytime you refresh your data, it picks the update. Look at this place now. There are a lot of blanks. There are a lot of blank cells. If I remove the blank cells, let me just remove the blank cells. Let me just say maybe I highlight all these cells that have blank and I delete it. And I save it. Right? Immediately I refresh this. No more blank. No more blank. Right? And this is 24 rows. If I come here and duplicate all this data, Control C, and I come to the next, Control V, oh yeah, and I save it. Immediately I refresh here, it will pick the new data immediately to become 48 rows. Can you see? By the way, I can teach you how to find number of rows without looking at that place. Come to transform, then click on count rows. Count rows. Insert, I'll delete it. Count rows can say 48. That's by the way. All right. So now let me assume I really want to do that. So now, of course, this 48 rows contains duplicates. So I can click on remove rows, and click on remove duplicates. It will remove the 23 lines that are duplicated. And now see, I have 23 rows. Because all the lines that are there, most of them are actually duplicates. Okay, so you have learned how to remove duplicates, yeah? Of course. So I want to go back to how it was because I need the blanks to explain something. So I've saved it again and immediately I refresh. The blanks are back. The blanks are back. Okay, I think I love to click on this remove duplicates so that it can leave my blank in peace. All right. So that's where we are now. So by now, I believe you should have a good knowledge of the relationship between your query and your source file. And you can do anything. I can create a fresh column here. I can create a fresh column. Those I'm not there yet, right? If you create a fresh column here such that the column here increases by 1, the column in your original data will not increase. It won't increase. And if you add more data to your original file, it will still apply the formula for creating that column on the new data. Don't worry, you see more of that later. But at least I believe you got that. Okay, so by now you know how to change this, you know how to use this, you know how to use this. Oh yeah. So these two, leave them for now. Remove rows, you know how to remove duplicates. You know how to remove duplicates. Yeah, you do. So if you notice this data now, there's a particular row that nothing is there. Come to original. Let's see if I'm from original data. This particular row is entirely blank. This place that's supposed to be 25. After 24, there was blank. Then there's 26. This row is entirely blank. It contains nothing on all the columns. So I told you about missing values or how to deal with blanks. So when you are in Power Query, how do you know where your blanks are? How do you know where you can get your blank cells? You can simply click on the drop down. So when you have number formats, when you have data in number format, your blank are usually recorded as null, N-U-L-L. So if on a column of data that is formatted as numbers, if it has empty value or blank or missing value, it will be recorded as null. Null. Okay, see, this is it. This is null. This null means there's nothing there. This is null, nothing there. Null, null. All these are null because there's nothing there. It simply means empty. Simply means empty. And it is null because those columns are numbers. Okay, if I click here too, I'll see null. Can you see? It's recorded as null because that means there's a blank cell there. If I click here, I'll see blank. It means there are blank. When you say blank, blank means there's a missing value and the data type is text. This one is not null because it is not number. It is text. So good thing in Power Query about identifying missing value is that the missing value will always be on top. The blank will not be at the bottom. In Excel, it's always at the bottom. It's always the last. In Excel, it's usually the last. When Power BI or Power Query now, it is usually the first. So if there's blank or if there's missing value, you would always see it on top. Okay, so I'll click OK here. Then shop name also has blank. All right. So I told you, I gave you a few ways to deal with blanks yesterday. 3 ways. I said number 1, you can leave it as blank. If you have blank values in your analysis, you can leave it as blank. Number 2, you can remove the row. You can remove the entire row. Number 3, you can remove the variable, right? The variable means the column. If the blank is too much, for example, let's say you have 1,000 rows of data, and out of 1,000 rows, let's say 700 is blank. That row is useless. You cannot do data imputation for 700 rows. You get me? And if it is very small, let's say out of 1,000 rows of data, you have to just like 2 rows that are blank. Come on, you can remove the 2 lines. 998. It's not bad. It's almost like 1,002. I just remove those 2 rows, unless they are super important, right? Then you can do data imputation. If it is number, I say you can try average or median. If it is text, you can try frequency method. I discussed all this in Excel classes yesterday. Okay, so one of the ways to remove blank, you can also do it in these remove rows. So you click on remove rows, you can click on remove blank rows. And if you click it, what happened? What do you observe? I observed that there's no more row 25. There was a row 25 here that was blank. If I step back, I'm not deleting anything, I would see that there was a blank here and it has been removed. But I still have other blanks that were not removed. This is null. Null Mejini. I mean, there are 2 nulls here. 2 blanks, 2 blanks, 2 blank. Okay, I think this row is, in fact, all these 2 rows are blank everywhere. But they were not removed. See, this is null. Not removed. Why? And I was wondering why. I was seriously wondering why. I realized that remove blank rows from this remove blank rows will only work if all the columns on that particular row, if they are blank. So the row that was removed, that row, this number 25 was removed because it is blank on every column, including the store ID. These ones that are blank, they were not removed because there's something here. There's something here. They have 2 columns that were not blank. Otherwise, they would have been removed as well. Look at it. Look at something now. You know, I have removed blank rows here. If I come here, so these 2 guys, if I delete this as well, I delete this, like I'm making everything also blank, just like their neighbor, right? And I delete this. So everything is now blank. And I save it. So if I refresh now, what do you think will happen? Tell me what will happen.
There will be additional blanks.
There will be additional blanks.
Yes.
Okay, there will be additional blanks here.
Yes, and of course.
Okay, who has a contrary opinion? Anybody with a contrary opinion? If you support, say hi. Okay. There will be no blank. there will be no blank again. That is it. And look at it, there's no more blank. Exactly, because there's already removed blank rows. There's already a step here. Yeah. So anytime you refresh your query, anytime you refresh a query, what happens? Power Query will repeat all these steps again on the new data one by one. By the time it gets to the last one, it will stop. And by the time it gets here, remove blank row is already here. Remove blank row, they here already. Now, you said there'll be more blank rows. If I cancel this, remove blank rows now, there'll be more blank rows. Can you see now? Everything is now blank. See that? So, I believe you're getting the dynamics. We have not gone too far, but I'm trying to explain some very little and minute details that I believe can shape our knowledge of this thing. Once you get the concept very right, it's just a piece of meal. Come on. All right, so now let me undo. Let me undo here. I don't undo. Okay, let me undo again. Yeah, undo again. Oh yeah. And I will save this. And I will refresh again. And the same thing will happen again. And I will remove blank rows. And 25 is gone. But others are still there. So if you have others and you want to remove them, how do you do it? You can just click on any one of this one has null, for example. You can just click the drop down and uncheck the null. Uncheck it. That is, you don't want the null to be there. Click OK, and the null is gone. I think that would have handled all the blanks. If you check now, there will be no more blank. If you check this place now, okay, I can just remove the filter. So the nulls are there presently. I've done remove blank rows, but they have been refused to be removed. I explained why they were not removed. I said they were not removed because those rows were not entirely blank. There are some columns on those rows that are not blank. There are some columns on those rows that are not blank. So as long as all the columns on a particular row is not blank, that row cannot be removed by remove blanks. The one that is entirely blank has been removed. But the remaining rows, if you still want to remove them, you know what? You know, I talked about data imputation. Let's do the before we remove, let's do data imputation first. So the one that are these two null, for example, let's assume we have calculated the average or the mean, and you want to put it there. You know, you can simply do replace values. You just say value to find null, type null. We find null, anywhere you see null, just put, let's say 7 and click OK, and 7 will appear here. That means instead of null now, 7 don't appear. That is data imputation, right? Good. But if you don't want to impute data, you want to remove blank, that blank row cannot remove, just click the drop down and uncheck blank. You can do it from here if you want, or if you don't, you can remove blank here. Anyway, you see blank, just remove it. Just filter, that's just filtering, right? And if you check here now, you have removed blank here. If you click this drop down, you're still going to see that blank, but it is not checked, right? But if you come to this place where you have blank before, null before, you no longer see it. It has been filtered out. And if you come to other places where there was blank before, you no longer see blank there. It is only this one that you filtered here that is showing this drop down, small drop down arrow. If you click it, you're still going to see that blank, but it is unchecked. If you check it back, your data will come back. Right. So that is how to remove rows. Let me finish the removal. So let's assume that, okay, in your data, you don't want to see the top. Let's say you want to remove the top 5 rows. That is what remove top rows does. So remove top 5. And you see now it's starting from 6. You can also do the same thing for bomb. Okay, and let's say bomb 5. I mean bottom 5. You can do the same thing for bottom 5 rows. Say click this, click on remove bottom rows. So let's say I want to remove the last 5 rows. I just put 5. If you notice now, this will no longer be from 29. Can I say it's now 21? I've removed the last 5 rows. You can remove alternate rows. That is something like remove 1, remove 2 columns, 2 rows from 1, keep 2 rows, remove the next 2, keep 2 rows. You know, that's removing alternate rows. I don't know why you would need that, but just in case you need it, well, it is possible. Right? So let me remove these rows. Then remove duplicates. I've done that. You can remove blanks. I've done that. Remove errors. If there are errors in your data, you can also remove it. So the opposite of remove rows is keep rows. So you have 24 rows of data. It can be 2 million. It can be 20 million. You can say, okay, out of all these rows, see, just keep top 10 rows for me. I just want to see the top 10. Top 10. Uncle Charles, in SQL, this is limits. You know, you can write a SQL statement, select star from other details, limit 10. That's, I just want to see 10 rows. So that is what this keep does. So I always like to say that this Power Query essentially also works like them SQL. It's a powerful query tool, and you are not writing any code. You are not writing any code. Just it make your step like this. It's just record the steps for you. Just button clicks and it records the steps. And once there is new data, all the data will pass through these steps afresh, and it will give you your output. Right? So instead of keeping 10 rows, you can say, okay, guys, I want to see only the last 10 rows. 10 is just an example, right? It can be 5, it can even be 2. Trust me, it can be 1. If I keep the last one row, that will be row 29 now. See that? Can be any number. So that is what keep rows do or does. You can keep duplicates, you can keep range. Keep range is like, you can say, okay, guy, I want you to keep something from row 10, and I want to see only 6 rows. So to keep row 10 to 15. Right? That is range. So you already know, I told you data cleaning can be as simple as making new columns and deleting columns. So just in case you want to remove columns, right? You know, you can just click on a column and remove it. Store ID is gone. Right? And you might have this plenty data and be like, wait, guy, this is nonsense. I mean, I don't want to see more than 2 columns. I just need store ID and store name. See, every other thing can go to hell. So you can highlight the 2, then click the drop down on remove columns and click on remove other columns. Remove columns means remove the columns that are highlighted. Remove other columns would mean that remove remove columns, it means remove the columns that are highlighted. Remove other columns means remove columns that are not highlighted. You get that? So if I click remove other columns now, it will only spare the 2 that are highlighted. It will remove every other one. Right? So the same way we have keep rows, remove rows, keep rows, you have remove columns. This choose column now, you can say this is about also removing columns. You can say, okay, choose column. I just want to see store ID and store name. I did that just now, right? So this is another way to do it. Right? And you can also use choose columns to jump from one column to another. You can say, okay, I want to go to column square feet, total square feet, to jump to that column. And that one does not have a step. Do not record any step for it because it is just like a navigation. All right. So we've done 2 hours, guys. Let's go for a break. Water break, 10 minutes. So during the 10 minutes break, I will send your assessment. Please, if you did not see it in the next, if you not see your assignment in the next 2 minutes, I mean 2 minutes, please drop a DM for me. That means I might have left out your email address while I
cannot see I'm very sure.
even if you see,
You're
not be able to do it, even if you see, right? Uncle Charles said, please send me, Uncle Charles and Uncle, please send me your email addresses. Thank you. So by God's grace, 3:33 by 3:43, right? Let's come back. So can you see this is where I keep email address? If your email is not showing here, Maybe I don't have your details. Okay, guys, I'll see you in another 10 minutes. Okay, we are back. We back. Okay, so how many people have submitted? Let me check. Let me check this place. You guys did not submit. Why? Why are responses so few? No, 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 no. Uncle Kelly. Ah, okay. Okay, I didn't say this one to one response. Okay. Guys, you have not submitted. Is it deliberate? Why are you not submitting this thing? Are we still on it? Should I? Imakaba, are you there? Have you seen the mail? Imakamba, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Have
Good
you seen? Did
afternoon, sir.
you get my mail?
No, let me check.
Ha! I said before we ended the call, I said if you did not get my mail in 2 minutes, I said send a DM. Uncle Charles, Mr. Olumide, I have not seen your responses. I have not. Why? Why? Chioma, Omawumi, yes. Why not? Why not they do me like this? They shall know me. Hey, they joke, shall know me. Nítorí Ọlọ́run. Hey, they dákun. Um, yeah. I'm trying to wait till 3:50 to see if I will have more people submit. Okay, I've seen one more submission. One more person has submitted. Okay, I've seen one more. Thank you. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Mama Umi has done her home. Yeah. I've seen from Hayas. Fantastic. Oh. Okay.
Hi, Tio.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
I sent you a chat. I got
Oh,
stuck at that place where
I
it says,
responded to.
uh,
I said, will you share
come.
your screen? Don't worry. Maybe after the
Okay,
correction, I
after.
will ask you to share your screen so that probably there's somebody else facing that same issue so that we can look at it together.
All right.
I'm looking at responses to the assessment. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Delio, Delio, Delio. Tamana. Mary Crackers can data cleaning. Oh, yeah, fantastic. You did a good job. I'm still, I've only seen 3 responses, right? 6, 7, 8. I've only seen 3
I did not say
responses.
anything, sir. You did not say anything to me.
Eh?
I'm coming though.
Because you did not send your email. Okay, sent your email yesterday. You should have talked. Now, I said if you did not see it in 2 minutes, I said DM.
Wait,
I went to put on my join. I went to fix it. I know they bandy.
Napande I do, and they don't spoil me. But now, Spa don't cost now. Now, in at the hustle. Now, in at the hustle. I they pay like 70,000 every month. Is that what you want? Are you sure you still want it? Be careful what you.
I
Be careful. Be careful. Be careful what you wish for. You're ready for 70K, yeah? My 70K is without ACO. I don't use hot plate though. Just my bulb, my fan, my laptop, TV. I don't use anything. Okay, iron, and I use dry cleaner. I use prepaid. Yes, it's not estimate and it's not post. It's prepaid, and I'm consuming 70,000 on top bulb. If I dey use AC now, AC where they here now is dust don't cover them. I get my bedside fridge dust don't cover them. I don't reduce. Just one chest freezer. I stop using water dispenser. Because I have to cut all those things so that I will not be doing 200K in a month. So be careful what you wish for. I beg, send me your email again. We are not waiting for you, though, but at least send me so that I can have the questions. I wonder why people are not sending this. Why now? Chioma have not seen your response. Why now? Guys, why now? Why they do me like this? Makaba, I've not seen your response. Uncle Charles, I've seen your mail. Okay, so I think we just have to continue. You did do wonders. You can still send it later anyway, although it's actually to test our. Just to test our. What do you say?
I said no problem.
You can always send it. Okay, somebody has submitted again. Let me check. Oh, okay.
I thought report and diagram view are the same thing now.
They are not the same. Report view is I'm not share my screen. Let me confirm. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I don't need to share my screen. Report view is the first. Is the first on that list, followed by. Okay, yeah.
In terms of visualization,
I confused you. Diagram view is model view. I think I did it deliberately. Diagram view is model view. Diagram view is model view. Where you make your reports, where you make your visualizations is report view. All right, guys, let's do the correction within 2 minutes, right? I know you have seen the answers already, but it's okay. Let's still do it regardless. So let me share my screen at this point. Hiya, similarly, I'm done. Please get set. Yeah. So which of the following is not a function of Power BI? Dashboard design, data modeling, data storytelling. The answer is none of the above. Storytelling and visualization is almost the same thing. Yeah. Data storytelling is when you get insights from your data and you tell story with that thing. It's mostly done with visualizations, and yes, Power BI can do it. Power BI does that too. So where can you make visualizations in Power BI? That's report view. Diagram view is the same thing as model view. I guess that was what became confusing. And then this table view, I could have also put it as data view. All right. In Power BI, they call it table view. The other one is model view, but in Excel, it's called diagram view and data view. and they mean exactly the same thing. Okay, it's actually report view. Data can be edited directly from table view. True or false? That's false. I mentioned that you cannot edit table directly in table view. You have to take it to the query that created it. If you created from a query that is Power Query, you go to Power Query, go and edit it there. If you created the table from DAX, you go to DAX where the table was created. But from the view, I was emphasizing that it's view. Let's just view it. That is what it does. Then data cleaning is also known as data wrangling, of course. I was talking about the Yoruba people. Like you're trying to remove the moisture from your cloth. That's the word I used. You're removing the moisture, wrangling. So data wrangling is something as data cleaning. And another word for it yet is data transformation. So the Power Query is also known as ETL, yes. And ETL stands for extract, transform, load. As data analyst, the first and most important task you are faced with is what? So all these things I put here, yes, they are all data analytics process. You could have picked all of the above, but you'll be wrong. The first thing you always need to do, the first thing is, I mentioned that this thing is a very intuitive thing. It's not something you can do with your step, written down somewhere, where I've pasted it, this is what I will always do. It's a kind of work or it's a kind of activity that you always have to engage your thinking. You have to think a lot. You have to make some assumptions. Your analysis might prove you wrong later, but you have to probably make some assumptions at the beginning. You have to make presumptions, look at different factors. Why is Nigeria like this? Who is spoiling this country? Is it the citizen? Is it the president? You make assumptions. You do a lot of thinking. You ask a lot of questions. Some of them you ask yourself. Some of them you ask people, depending on what you're working on. For example, if I want to know why is tomato so costly? Why is pepper so costly? I cannot just sit down in my house and be looking at internet. It is cruise. I'll be seeing on internet. I'll carry my leg, go to my 12, go to Ilepo. I'll see the mama, Lodja. I'll see the Hausas. I'll see the, well, guys, why is this in this? They will explain, it's transport, it's this. Then I will look at other factors. What else could have caused it? Is there a trajectory to this thing, or is there a precedence? Has it always been like this around this time of the year? Maybe when rain is about to start. Has it always been like this? Okay, probably it has always been like this, but not this crazy. Okay, what makes it this crazy? You ask questions. It is in the process of asking your questions that you will be thinking, okay, I think I should get data on this. I should get data on this. I should get data on this. Once you get all your data, that is when you move to cleaning. So the first thing that you need to do is ask questions. It's the first thing. Is the first most important. It's not ultimately the most important, but it's the first most important. So what's the full meaning of CSV? Comma separated value. Yeah. To be a professional Power BI user, you need to be fast in some of the following. Yes, some of us tick only one, and it was green, but you still missed the mark. Some of us tick two, it was green, but you still missed the mark. It's actually the entire four, and I mentioned it. To be a professional Power BI user, your Power Query knowledge should be sound. You must know data modeling.
Of the above. There's no option of all of the above.
Yes, now you just tick everything. Now, this is a bug. You look at the stuff. Can you see these ones are around? Which means on these ones, you can only tick one. If you tick one here now, and you tick another one, the one you tick before, it will be unticked. But this one, you can check as many boxes as possible. That's why I said select all that applies. See this part, select all that applies. Right? So everything, you need to know DAX, you need to know Power Query, you need to know data modeling, you need to know visualization. It's actually everything. One of the following is not a required task in data cleaning. Which one of them is it you don't have to do in data cleaning? It's none. There's none of them that you don't have to do in data cleaning. What it means is that you have to do all of them. You have to remove outliers. You have to correct data type. You have to handle missing values. You have to remove redundant columns. You conducted a survey and one respondent did not include his favorite car brand. How can you make use of data imputation to handle missing value? I said when you want to handle categorical variables, you use frequency. You want to do data imputation, I will give 3 methods for data imputation. I mentioned frequency, I mentioned mean or average, and I mentioned median. So car brand, you cannot find mean of car brand. Now it's not number. And you cannot find mean of median of car brand, but you can get frequency. So when you have categorical variables, use frequency. You conducted a survey and one respondent did not include his favorite. Is that one coming twice? Okay, Cabram. Not wanting to dilute, the integrity of your data, you decided not to use data imputation. What other method can you use? One respondent now did not include, just one person. So delete the observation. Simple. Delete the observation. If you delete variable, that is deleting variable means you are deleting the entire column just because of one thing. That's brutal. What do you say? What did you say? Okay, so that was brutal, right? So just delete the observation and move on. Observation means the row. Another way to talk about it is deleting the record. Record, row, observation, they mean the same thing. Column, variable, field, they also mean the same thing. So this was a delete entire data. How bad? Just a cane fight. The fight, you go fight with cane, you go pull gun. Or delete and join a columns. Come on.
No mercy, my violence.
Just cane fight. Or just a fight that you just exchange words. Wait, what's that? You are a bombastic element. Okay. So data fields are the same thing as data rows. That is false, right? Field is the same thing as column. Row is the same thing as record. So that's data record is the same thing as rows. Yes. Power BI cannot connect to one of the following things. You are joking. You are not sounding well. Are you using okay? I want to say I'm using a microphone. Maybe that's why our economy is like this. Are you using your microphone? Okay, the time is not enough. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, now what is not because most of the question.
Don't worry now. It's not Cambridge now. Don't worry.
No, I don't like music. That's it. I don't like music. After I did my course, I was now introspecting which choosing.
It's okay. Because of time, right? So Power BI cannot connect one of the following files. It's no. Power BI, I told you that thing is so powerful. It can if they save the file in Hellfire, I don't know whether it can go there. That they can connect to almost anything. Sorry for the exaggeration, right? So that is that. So let's move on. Hayas, please share your screen. Share your screen and concern. Are you there? Hayas, are you there?
I'm here. I'm trying to share my screen.
All right.
So this is it. Don't look up.
All right. Could you please maximize?
Okay. So I tried to change it, but it wasn't responding.
Okay. So click there's a gear button. Look at under the applied steps. So any step that you apply and it brings a pop-up window, you can always go back to that pop-up window and edit it. Hey, you closed it. I would have wished you did not close it, right? I would have loved to see the mistake you made so that we just correct it from there.
Let me do what I did before.
Okay. All right.
Because it's not capital letter. Okay.
It will work.
Look at me.
See?
So it's because the S was a small letter.
The case. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It is case sensitive.
All right.
All right,
All right.
guys.
Thank
So we have welcome. We have about 25 minutes thereabouts. I actually like the idea of the assessments. Number one, it's engage us a little bit. And again, it helps us, quote and unquote, it helps us waste a little bit of time. I don't mean waste in that manner, but I mean it helps us at least relax. We've had 2 hours lecture back to, 2 hours consistent talking, consistent listening, and we've been engaged for 2 hours. I mean, it's not bad if we do something to at least lighten up a bit. Then come back another 30 minutes. Let's fire. What do you think? So my microphone, I'm sharing my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Hi, sir.
Right. So now, so far, we have looked at a lot of stuffs in our home tab. Okay, I would have loved to move to that column and transform, but not yet. So what we'll do now, let's go to append. So our files in transactions folder, let's bring them in. That's fast. So this is how you bring data in when you are in Power Query. If you don't want to close this or you don't want to apply, then go to Power BI. I told you I'll show you the 5th option for bringing in data, and this is it, new source. From Power Query itself, you can bring in data. So just click on the drop down here in new source, then click on text or CSV. Of course, that is the type of data we are bringing in. Then open these transactions here, bring in 1997 and 1998, bring them together. Bring in transactions 97, bring in transactions 98. If you notice, this one did not tell me, do I want to transform or I want to load? It did not tell me why. Because by default, I gas transform it. Because Power Query is already open. Do you get it? I'm loading the data directly from Power Query. I'm connecting data directly from Power Query. So it will not tell me whether I want to load or I want to transform. By default, I have to transform because Power Query is open already. So bring in the other one as well, 1998. Okay, so 1997 and 1998 are here. So now look at it. I don't want to, please just a second. Okay, so I have transactions file for 1997. I have transactions file for 1998. This is 97 right here. Look at the columns. Get familiar with the columns. I want to close this. I can always bring, if you close your query settings, you can always bring it back. Just click on view and click on query settings. It will come back, right? But I'm not bringing it back yet. I think I'd like to see my stuffs like this. So if you look at transactions 1997, and I think this one is too wide. Why do I have to give you so much space? So you can do that too. So actually, assuming I don't want to close my query settings now, I can do it. Oh, really? Okay. So transactions 1997 is this. Look at the headers. Transaction date, transaction stock date, product ID, customer ID, store ID, and quantity. and look at transactions 1998. Same thing. It also contains transactions date, stock date, product ID, customer ID, store ID, and quantity. All right. Now, I want to make the two of them one. I want to have a single table that contains the information in the both of them. So when you are adding, the technical term for that one is concatenate. To concatenate two tables means you want to append two tables. So when you get to Python, you learn how to concatenate two tables. You can, instead of append in Power Query, in Python it's called concatenate. You can add the information in one table to another table. Like you want to stack two tables. You want to put one table on top of the other. Somebody is raising a hand. I will recognize you shortly. Please hold on. You want to put one table on top of the other one, right? That is what append means. So, you know why I keep saying all this is, if you are doing a real life analysis, real world analysis, and you have this kind of data, let's say we want to collect data on a particular subject, and they give you data for 1991, for 1992, for 1993, let's say up to 2024. That's like 33 years. Now, you don't want to analyze what happened in those 1 year separately, or even if you want to do it separately, you don't want to have 31 tables for different years for the same thing. You want to have a single table, just one table that contains all that information and has a date column that differentiates the years. Simple. That's what you want to do, right? So if I want to add 1998 data to 1997, how will I go about it? So this is 1997 here, for example. Now, number one, let's look at the number of columns. Number of rows. I already taught us how to get the number of rows in your data, right? You want to know how many rows does this data contain. Just click on transform, click on count rows. You get the number of rows. So this row, for example, contains, it is this 1997 data, for example, it contains 86,837 rows, right? Let me click on view query settings. I don't want that, so I'll just cancel this. Then I'll click on 1998, yeah, and I will go to transform again, count rows. 1998 actually contains 182,883 rows. So when I put the two of them on top of each other now, I should have something above 200,000, right? So there are two ways you can want to do this. I may say, okay, I want to add 98 to 97. I don't want to create a fresh table. Or you can say, okay, I want to add 98 to 97, but I want it in a fresh table, right? I want 97 to still be 97. I want 98 to still be 98. And I want to create a new table that contains the addition of the two. Let's do the two of them. Let me click on my 1997. I want to add 98 to it. I'll just click on append queries. I'll click on append queries. So what am I doing? I'm adding two tables. It said concatenate. Can you see concatenate rows from two tables into a single table? See, concatenate. I told you that's the word. Concatenate rows.
Please, can you come back a bit?
I've cancelled. I want to add 19. Yes, I'm now at the beginning of the beginning. So what I'm saying now is, let me start up. I'm saying, can you see me? I'm saying, I'm saying that. Oh yeah. I'm saying that I want to have one single table for all the years. I don't want to have different tables for the same thing, for the same observations, for the same subject, for different years. So but it's possible data was actually collected differently. You know, I told you data cleaning will involve different stuff. So it is part of your data cleaning task to put the same data together, right? Now, I've loaded my 1997 data, I've loaded my 1998 data. I want to create a single table that contains the two data. I said what I will do in Power Query is called append. I digress. I said in Python it's called concatenate, and we have actually seen it briefly. It's called concatenate. Although the idea of concatenate we have in Excel is a little bit different. The same concatenate we know in Excel is actually also in Power BI. But right now, let's focus on append. I said, okay, you are the architect of your destiny. That's not what I mean. I mean, you are the architect of this data analytics project. You are the one that will decide how you want it to happen. But I want to give us the different ways you can take. I want to take different scenarios so that you can always make a choice. I said one of the things that is possible is this. It's possible you want to have, your outcome is that you want to have a single table that contains for both years, for both 1997 and 1998. Now, it's possible that you want to add 98 to 97 so that 1997 data now will contain the data for the 2 years. Or it's possible you want to add 1997 to 1998 so that 1998 data now will contain data for the 2 years. Or it's also possible that you want to create a fresh table. You want 1997 to still remain 1997. 1998 data should still be the way it is. Now you want a fresh table that will contain data for those 2 years. Right. That's also achievable. So I said, let's do it. Let's do the first one. Let's add 1998 data to 1997. So I'm in my 1997 query presently, right? I've clicked on 97. Then I'll click on append queries. Just click on append query. Append queries on your home tab. So if you are not on your home tab, you will not see append. Let's say for example you are in transform tab, you not see anything, or you're in add column, you not see anything. But if you're in your home tab, you see append. All right. So I'll click append query. When you click append query, a pop-up window will come up. You'll be asked, do you want to, it said concatenate rows from 2 tables into a single table. How many tables do you have that you want to concatenate? Is it 2 or you have 3 or more tables? In this case, we have 2. But if you have more than 2 tables, you click 3 or more. It will bring this. But we have just 2 tables that you want to append. It will now ask you, okay, select the second table that you want to append to 1997. So can you see 97 is already showing current? That is the current table you have right now. Then I will click on, okay. Is there a drop down? Where's my 98? Could you hear me? Wait, why is it showing 1, 2, 3? Okay. I've done count rules. Okay, let me cancel this. It's back to a table now. Okay, append. I was wondering why I was not saying 1998. So, table to append 1998. And I'll click OK. Very fast. It's done. Look at it. If I go to transform now and I click on count rows, 97 was initially 82,000 or 86,000. Now it is 269,000. This tells you that 1998 data has been added. Okay, somebody has a question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
2 questions I have.
Okay.
The first one you've already answered while you're explaining. I wanted to ask, concatenate and append, are they the same thing? Because in Excel you said concatenate, while in BI you said append, but you've already answered it.
Okay, there are different things. The concatenate we are used to in Excel is also that same concatenate is also in Power BI. But you know what we used to do? We used it to join string together. Like I want to join Theophilus and Adewale together. That is the concatenate we know, right? But you can also do a kind of concatenate between 2 tables, such that you can put one table on top of another and join their members together, right? So that is called, in Power Query, it is called append.
Okay. Also, in this append, can you explain the difference between append queries and append queries as new? For some of us who do not understand it.
Now we are going there. We are going there. Really, you know, I said what I did now, you know, with what I've done now, with the append that I just did now, 1997 data is no longer existing. Because this 1997, I will have to rename it because I've added 1998 to it. Right? I believe you get that.
Yeah, sure.
This 97 now is no longer 1997. I've added 1998 to it. Let's also do another one. Let's add 98 to 97, right? I can click on 98. Then I can click on append queries. Then it will bring a checkbox, a pop-up window that am I doing 2 tables or 3 or more? 2, of course. Then I'll click 97 here and I'll click OK. And it has done it very fast. If I come to transform, I can see the number of rows now. It's now 269,000. Right. So in all of this now, I did not create a new table. So the append query as new that you mentioned, it will join the 2 tables together. Let me close this append that we did now. It will join the 2 tables together, but it will put the result in a new query. So if I click on this drop down and I click on append queries as new, it's going to bring the pop-up window. Is it 2 tables or 3 tables? Of course, 2. First table, I will choose it. Put my 97 is okay, but if I like, I can actually make 98 my first table. It doesn't matter. Second table, I can make it 97. Whichever one is first table, second table does not matter. It's what matters is just that, well, the 2 of them will be on top of each other. Right? Let's check whether we can even append the same table. Of course, it's possible. Can you see? Even one same table, I can append it with itself. Madness. So I'll click OK. And if you notice now, there will be a new query that will be generated. You see append 1. Can you see? So if I go back to, I've done my append. If I go back to my 97 now, some of the reason I had, I'll recognize it shortly. 97 is still 86,000. It has not changed. Open, 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 open. My system cannot cope with my speed.
Sorry. After I did append, I didn't see, it didn't show me append on this left-hand side. But on the apply step, I could see it there.
That means the append you did is not append as new. So cancel the append you can see on the apply steps, right? In front of append, there's a drop down. There's a drop down icon. Click it. Then click on append as new. So when you click on append as new, select the 2 tables in the pop-up window that comes up. Then we are fine. Oh, Hayas, please ask a question.
Hi.
Okay.
So I was able to merge the transfer 1998
don't use that word.
What was the word?
Append, use append. You know, if you look beside your append, there's merge there. Merge is, we are still going to do merge later.
Okay.
Merge is different, so that we don't get confused.
All right. So I was able to append 1998 to 1997. And I did that count rows. I got the numbers. I'm unable to go back from there.
Okay.
Then I closed my query settings earlier. I'm trying to get it. I can't seem to track it.
Okay, so click on view.
View.
Yeah. View tab on top of your ribbon.
Okay.
So the leftmost icon is query settings. Click it. Your query settings will come up.
Okay. Thank you. So how do I move from these 269 counts that I got?
Just delete that step.
Counted rows.
Yeah, delete this step.
I got it.
Oh yeah.
All right, thank you.
That is the joy.
So now count rows here, I can delete it. So if you notice, 97 is still the same. If I come to 98, it will definitely also be the same, which is 128,000 or so. Is it 128 or 180? Okay, it's 182,000, I think. Next time I want to take participant for my training, I will ask them, are you using 32 gig? If you're using 32 gig, I say you cannot come. You cannot be using a better laptop. Okay, so this is 182,000. Can you see? 1998 is still the same, but the append that we did from our append as new, if you see that now, append as new now is append as new. If I check the number of rows now, you see it to be 269,000. Perfect. So I can rename this, right? So let's call it transactions.
Transactions, so let's go F.
And this is not, you're still going to F. Transactions. Let's say transactions A. A for append. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, now. Yeah. So
Master.
sir, I'm not master, I'm Theophilus.
Just accept the way I call you. Now, I
No,
want
I
to
will
know
not
how you
accept.
separate it. You know that you joined it in 1997.
Say it again.
I said when you merge the query, when you append it rather,
Okay.
in 1997, how did you separate it out to make a transaction? Because the only way I was able to do that is I should join them through the folder.
Have you been in this class? It's like you are cooking beans. You went to see your beans that you put on fire.
I'm just curious about how you were able to get this append and change it to
that's
transaction.
append now. No, that's append. See, I changed the name. It's just rename. I just changed the name. Just under your query settings, just
you only
change
joined it in 1997. That's what I'm talking about.
I joined I joined 98 and 97. Okay, what I did, right? From any of these two, in fact, anywhere self, let me even click on store. From any of the queries, click on transactions, append queries, append query as new from anywhere. Then select the two tables you want to append. In this case, it's not store lookup, so I will just change this to 97 and 98. Right? And I explained that it can even be in any fashion. 98 can also come before 97. It does not matter. Then click OK. Immediately you click OK, it will create the query for you. Let me do it again. It doesn't matter. I just have another query. See now, append one is here. So I'll just delete this since I don't need it. So let me sound warning in terms of this append thing. Right? Yeah, okay. So our transactions 1997 and our transactions 1998, they have the same column type, Abi, and they have the same number of columns, right? Number one, let's make some assumptions. Number one, that the column names are not spelled the same way. So let's say this stock date is capital letter. Stock date, right? Do you know there's a difference now? Before, all of them are the same and they are spelled the same way. Oh, Chema is trying to enter. Hello, Chema, are you back? We missed you. Okay, stock date was, look at 1998 here. It was the small letters. This one now I've made it capital letters. Product ID. So let me call it product identity. Still the same number of columns, though. But this one is spelled the same way, but one is small letter, one is not capital letter. This one is product ID. Now this one is product identity. Then let me add a column. So let me just come to customer ID. Don't worry about what I'm doing about how to add this column. It's okay, you get it. Let me add length. Right, let me add length to it. I've added another column here. So if you notice now, what I'm doing now is that number one, my 1997 is no longer exactly the 98. in a stock date column, the case is different on the header. Product ID is not product ID, it's product identity. And there's another column that is different from others, right? Which is length, which is not in 1998, right? So let me come to my transactions now and let me refresh. Let's see what we have. See what we have here now. It has refreshed itself. Stock date is now like this. I now have product identity here. No, this thing has not refreshed. Oh, beautiful. Can you see? I have, this is not the append. I have stock date. I have product identity. Quantity is supposed to be the last column, Abby, but it is not. I now have length. I now have stock date, small letter. It now has plenty null. And I have product ID. Hmm? Do you get the gist I need to explain? So initially when we did our append, there was no problem because the columns are spelled the same way. The number of columns are exactly the same, right? And there was no issue. But now the columns are no longer spelled the same way, so there's a problem. So let me remove this. Let me remove this. And now we'll be fine again. It's refreshing. When the refreshing is done, we'll be fine. We're supposed to end the class now, but please, even though I'm rushing somewhere, please let's take 10 more minutes or 15 so that we can join this thing together properly. There's something that I need to add to this before we go so that the class will not be disjointed. So look at it now. I've deleted, can you see stock date is now 1, product ID is now 1, and there's no more length. So it's a rule for append. If you want to append 2 queries or 2 tables, try and ensure that they have the same number of columns, that the column names are spelled the same way, and the cases are the same. I mean, it is case sensitive. Where you use small letter in one column, use small letter in the other column. Where you use capital letter in one column, in one table, use capital letter in the other column as well. I mean, the other table as well. So that's that. Now, there's a better alternative to append, especially when you have dynamic data. When I say dynamic data, I mean data that you update regularly, data that changes often, right? So let us learn to bring data from folder. So go back home, click on new data. This time around, you want the data from a folder. So folder is not here, yeah? So click on more. Then folder, click on folder, click connect. There are 2 things you can do. You can either copy the address of the folder. You can come here. This is the folder, transactions, right? I'll click it. I'll click inside the address bar on my system and I'll copy it. This is the path of the file. It's a part of path. I don't know. So I'll minimize this here. So the folder path, I'll paste it here. That is one option, and I think it's a very cool one. Alternatively, you can just click on browse and locate it on your computer. That works perfectly too. So I'll click OK. So when you have these now, you can click on combine and transform data. But if you have, okay, if you are not in Power Query, assuming you are bringing this from normal Power BI, right? Combine and transform will not be there. It's transform you see, right? So I can just click transform so that you see how it happens. If I click on combine and transform, I would have skipped a step. And if you are doing it from Power BI, you might miss it. So these are the 2 files. You know, I have just 2 files there. Transactions 97, transactions 98. Then you now do binary combine. You do binary combine. Combine files. You see it looks like two arrows pointing downwards, then there's a beam under the two arrows. So I will click on it. So when you click on it, it combines the file for you to combine both 97 and 98 without doing append. Fantastic. This method right here is a real game changer. It's a game changer, I tell you. So it has done it. I will just click OK. I have transactions now. It is processing. So can you see now? If I don't need this column, you already know how to delete column, so I can delete this. Right? And then data source settings. No, I don't need data source settings today. Not today. Not today, not today, not today. Okay, I think I'll do a short video on these data source settings. Yes. Okay. So if I go to transform and I check the number of rows here, this is one I bring in from that folder. It will be 269, and I did not have to do append. See, 269. So I will let us go now. But before we go, let me show you the advantage. So this is the folder. So this is 97 and 98. So let's assume later on, they say, data analyst, well done. And you have data for 97 and 98. Yes, I have. But we have data for 96 and 99 now. And then we are thinking the analysis should now be from 1996 and 19 to 1999. We feel that the 2 years bracket cannot be enough. Okay, no problem, no problem. Just give me the data, just give me data. And I collected it. So let me just copy 97 and 98 and paste it in that same folder. So just to say that, okay, maybe it has increased. Sure, you get. So let's assume I have my 96 here like this, and 97 and 99. Don't forget this. It's actually 97 I copied, and 98 became 99. It doesn't matter. So I just put the two files in the folder, right? I didn't do anything. I will just come here to refresh the query. When I refresh this query, what will happen normally is supposed to blow your mind. Because this Power Query would have picked the 96 data and the 1999 data, and it will have loaded this here without you doing anything, without you lifting any load, without you bringing any query. It will have loaded it. If you come to count rows now, come and see. It will have been 500, maybe 500 plus, yes. See, 539,000. It has added 96 to it. It has added 99 to it. Just by putting it in that folder. So when new data arrives, just put it in that folder. Automatically it will append once you refresh. So that is the weakness of append. So append is only done when you just want to do something one-off. When you want to do something one-off, it's not going to happen again. You just want to do it one-off, use append. But if it's something that you have to be appending continuously, maybe you are doing a monthly report or a weekly report or even a daily report. You know, if I append today, tomorrow they send me data, I append again. Next one they send me data, I append again. You go tired for append. But if they send you data, just put it in the folder. Go to your model, refresh, it loads it. They give you another data, put it in the folder, refresh, it loads it. That's beautiful. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? All right, guys, I think it's a convenience point to end the class today. We are going to pick it up from here by God's grace next week, Sunday. We will be alive. Ill and at.
Thank you.
I will send our task. I will send us a task to do for Excel. I also send us a task to perform for Power BI. Please do it. I beg. Please do it. Attempt it. Please. Attempt it. If you cannot do it today, I'm not even sure I'll send it today. Yeah. Even the recordings should be available tomorrow. Recordings will be available tomorrow. Then the task as well, I will make them available tomorrow. So, thank you for coming to class. Thank you for trusting me. I feel so honored. Thank you. We'll see in our next class. Before we go, is there any question?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Uncle Charles.
Thank you, God.